Hello, this is Gabriel with ABU Games. I just finished preparing a large shipment of cards that I'm going to be sending off to BGS to be graded. And I thought I'd give you a little preview video of kind of like before they are graded, and then I'll do a video once we get them back showing the results. So this is actually one of the largest shipments. It probably is actually the largest shipment I've ever made to BGS. And I'll get to reason why towards the end of the video, but we'll start here with the key cards. This is the alpha and beta cards that we'll be sending in. It's a decent assortment of cards. I always wish I had more of these to send in. Recently the availability has just been really hard. I've not been getting nearly as much of this stuff in as I would like to, but we do come across a decent amount of vintage stuff that's worthy of grading. So all these cards here, essentially, I feel have a good shot of getting a BGS 9.5. That's kind of what my when I'm looking at a card and I'm assessing if I think it's good enough to be sent in, that's the kind of the bar I'm at these days. You never know what's going to happen when you send a card in, and you just hope for the best. And you kind of look. I mean, I've been doing this now I looked at it today. I noticed that my first shipment that I sent into BGS was in 2010. So this is 2017 now. So I've been doing this for 7 years, and I've got a pretty good idea about what BGS is looking for and what not to send in, and what they ding and what they won't, what they'll just slam you on. And a big part of that is centering, unfortunately. That just disqualifies so many perfectly nice cards, which I've always thought that they should have a separate grading system for centering off of condition. That is, there should be an aesthetic grade, but that's a whole nother idea. So I went pretty super ham on the Legends cards on this shipment. We've been really getting a lot of people requesting and purchasing the Legends cards, and we've sold through pretty much, not all of them, but a pretty significant amount of our stock of graded Legends cards, especially the commons and uncommons. And I love grading Legends cards. They have they have an interesting card stock to them, because when they're near mint, they tend to have a real nice shine to them, and they'll scratch, but not as bad as some other things I'll get to later in this video. So it's a really, and plus all the cards are so beautiful and awesome to look at that it's just really fun to grade the Legends cards. So I'm really happy that people are still interested in these, because I could grade these all the time. I love it. It's so good. So that's a significant amount of Legends cards. I'm not sure, but probably close to 500 Legends cards or something like that. Now here's a bunch of the dark cards. I've had a lot of requests to start grading the dark, and I have graded in the past, and they sold okay, but I didn't feel like it justified doing all the commons and like everything. But recently I've had a spike in people interested, so I'm giving it another shot. So I was able to get a decent selection here ready to go. Now, it's interesting. ABU Games is in a pretty fortunate position, and kind of a unique position, in that we get a lot of vintage cup. We try to specialize in the old things, so we get this stuff in, and so we have a lot of this stuff come through. So we're able to find some of these really nice condition commons and uncommons and provide them for, as for people that are trying to collect sets. It's not easy to any card, just like a Magic card, to get a Magic card BGS 9.5 from the older sets is not easy to do. You need a lot of examples of cards in order to find one that's going to be gradable. I mean, assuming you're looking for 9.5s. So come to the reason why this this shipment is the largest ever. Because I felt like this was the time to grade reserved list cards. So I spent an absolute ridiculous amount of time finding and grading, or trying, that's kind of a confusing term. I get, finding cards that should grade 9.5 or better from the reserved list. And I did not realize when I just made the decision that I wanted to do this, how brutal it was going to be. Now, I love these cards. I love cards from Mirage, Visions, Weatherlight, Tempest, Stronghold, Exodus. I grew up playing with these cards. I was playing the game, and these sets were coming out. But I did not remember how absolutely awful the card stock is on these things. They are scratch magnets. It was so brutal trying to find examples that would get a 9.5. I had to look through hundreds of, for one card, I might have a stack of 100. That's another, anyways, let me continue with that thought. I might have a stack of 100 of one of these and find 2 or 3 in that, after I go through that stack of 100, that I thought might actually be, a gradable card. And then you start looking at them closely, of those 2 or 3 cards. And then you might not find it, and maybe all 3 of them are not good enough, or maybe just 1 or 2. So, and another thing is the centering is so bad on these sets. So immediately, 90% of the cards are not going to work, are not even have no chance of grading, no matter how nice they are. That's the thing. You could buy a sealed box of these, whatever set, Ice Age, Mirage, Visions, and the chances of you having any cards in the box, rare-wise, worthy of sending in is pretty low. You could easily get a whole box and have 0 cards to send in because every single one of them's off-centered, or they have some kind of weird printing error, or they have some kind of weird corners that are all like super square, and the rest are normal. So they would get dinged on that corner grade. So anyways, another thing about these reserved list cards, and why I decided now was a good time to do this. Right now, a lot of these cards are under $1. And so I was I had a pretty good stock of these cards to look through to try to find some good ones. I don't know how long that's going to be. If Wizards sticks to what they say, they're not going to reprint these. There'll never be new ones of these available. They're going to only go up. So all it takes is one guy to say, I'm going to buy all of this one or all of that one. And they can make a huge influence on that price. And then they'll all be dried up. So also, I'll be able to offer these at a pretty reasonable price, considering how freaking hard they are to get a good one. Because their base price is so cheap right now. Now it takes about 2 to 3 months to get these cards back, and who knows what happens. This is an interesting time of Magic. It could drastically go up between now and then. And I did try to find some reserved list foils from Legacy or Destiny, and I had 0 legacy cards that were like even close to good enough to send in. But I did find a few. There's a Destiny, including a Academy Rector, which is pretty nice. So we'll see. I'm pretty confident that most of these will come back 9.5, and with the sheer amount that I'm sending in, it's almost for sure that some will come back 10. And it's interesting though, this is a 2,300 plus 100 card shipment to BGS, and there's a good chance that I don't get a single quad 10, but with this many, there's a good chance I will as well. Maybe a handful, or none, or 10. Probably not more than that though. Well, hope you enjoyed this preview video of what's to come. And you can see what I've spent pretty much the last 200 to 300 hours of my life doing, finding this stuff. So, thanks for watching. Bye.